it's probably worth explaining how I damaged this tank and almost killed myself so no one else is ever foolish enough to do what I did. When I got this tank, it had been open to the elements. The caps up there were gone. Mistake number one, never do that again. Never buy a tank that's been open for years, because it was filled to the brim with dirt, branches. There were Christmas tree ornaments in there, leaves. So I ended up, the tank was dry otherwise, all right? That's important to understand that. There was no diesel in it. It didn't smell like diesel. It was dry. It was just dry dirt. So I ended up flushing it out with hundreds or even thousands of gallons of water. I got it all out. There was no smell of diesel. There wasn't any diesel discharge coming out of the tank. It was just a dry or clean steel at that point. It wasn't dry. So I decided that I wanted to dry it out because water and diesel don't mix. So this is the mistake that I made. I ended up taking a big propane flame from a weed burner and putting it in the one hole there covered by the steel plate and discharging out of the other hole. Worked great. Huge amounts of steam were coming out of it. It was drying. Then what happened is I accidentally put the propane torch too close to the hole, and in an instant, it happened in less than an instant, the propane flame was snuffed out, the tank filled with propane, and then it reignited. So the whole thing literally took less than a second, and the explosion was incredible. As you can see, it imploded this tank. It blew crap all over my yard. It deafened me for about a day and a half. The windows in the house rattled, and the whole thing was just that little bit of propane. And it wasn't like I stood there for an hour running propane in it. It was literally a second or less of propane off, and then on, and then boom. So never ever do that. When I dry the next tank, I'm going to use just a heat gun, or I'm going to let it sit in the sun, or I'm going to do something different. But trying to dry a tank with like that could have easily killed me. And in fact, if this tank had been any thinner steel, it would have imploded or exploded, or shrapnel, and I would have been killed deader than damn. So just one of the lessons from the farm, I guess. Don't do stupid shit. So if you're ever tempted to dry a tank, don't.